In this video, I'm gonna go over the exact steps that we took to take a client from I need money for my rehabs, for my rentals, and for cash on hand when deals come up, to getting him over $109,000 at 0%. My name is Drexel. I'm CEO and co-founder of 0% Investor. We've helped over 110 investors fund over $7 million at 0%. Usually they're real estate investors that have been told no by banks or private equity or wherever the hell they've gone and tried to get their funding before. Welcome. Hopefully this is of value to you. Let's dive right in. When we first bring on a client, one of the first things that we do is we get a 3-bureau credit report from them so that we know exactly what their Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion credit reports look like. We want to see what exactly the bank sees. And on top of that, we want to look at their articles of organization when they form their LLC. So we got his articles of organization and his credit reports, and then we created what's known as optimization tasks. So this is a very important process to do in funding, and this is part of the reason why when people go out and try to get funded, they might have amazing credit above 720 and they have these long-standing relationships at all these banks. However, they end up getting approved for low limits, $5,000, $2,000. It's just because they don't know how to present themselves in the right light. So this optimization is how you present yourself in the right light. So first thing that we did was on the personal credit side, we did removing of inquiries on Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and paying down his primary personal credit card balances below 30%. So let's start with the inquiry removals. According to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, any inquiries that show up on a consumer's credit report that they did not authorize can be removed. Did not authorize can be removed. So he had these inquiries that were not attached to any open accounts that he did not authorize, or he didn't recognize and he didn't know. So what we did is we showed him exactly how to remove it, and I'll show you how we did it for him. I'll actually link this in the description so you can just go ahead and walk through it yourself. But for Equifax and TransUnion, you need to file a FTC complaint first. This number 1, number 2, number 3, that's just exactly what to click and put into the actual FTC report. Once that is complete, you submit a CFPB complaint. Within 72 hours after doing these 2 steps, okay, by the way, you take the FTC report PDF doc and submit it to CFPB. Once these 2 steps are complete, the inquiries fall off within 72 hours because the bureaus are basically told that they need to remove it or there will be legal action taken. Now, why would they do that too? Now, a lot of people get this misconstrued. These bureaus, they're not government agencies. They're private organizations. They're basically data warehouses. So what you're basically doing is telling them, bro, you're reporting my data wrong. Report it right. And they should do that. They actually, by law, have to listen to you and do that. And if they don't, there's legal ramifications. So if you're wondering, why would they even do that? I've never heard of such a thing. It's possible. We do it all the time. This is why I'm showing you. With Experian, it's rather simple. Experian, you just call in. So you just call this number, enter your social security number. They verify you, tell that you're calling about a dispute. Then you need to go to the fraud department. This one takes 30 minutes to do. It's annoying. They put you off to somebody in the Philippines usually. And then you need to verify your information and then say, hey, I have several hard inquiries on my credit report that I would like to be removed. I do not approve these. They're fraudulent. Can you help me? And sometimes they give a little pushback. Usually if you do this right and you don't just say, I would like my hard inquiries to be removed, please. Usually if you say, I did not authorize these, I did not approve these, are fraudulent, I would like them to be removed, they usually remove them. Be very clear, usually takes around 72 hours here as well. So he did those 2 things. And then he also paid down all personal primary credit card balances below 30%. So what does that mean? All of his personal primary, not authorized user cards. If there's any authorized user cards over 30%, we just tell him to delete that. He didn't have that. But any personal primary credit card balances below 30%, pay them down. Above 30%, pay them below 30%. Now, why do you want to do that? Because the banks don't underwrite off of total credit limit and percentage utilization off of your total credit limit. For example, you might have an American Express card that you're maxed out on 90%, but then there's a Bank of America card that you're 0% at. Guess what? When they underwrite your file, when the banks underwrite your file, they will look at every single personal credit card and make sure that they're all paid down. So for him, he paid it down by himself below 30%. We told him 10% just to be safe, but 30% as a safe bet. Now that those three things on the personal credit side were done, then we went off to the business. And on the business, the first thing that we did is we opened up and established a DUNS number. So you might be wondering, what is a DUNS number? A DUNS number, a DUNS number is a Dun and Bradstreet identifier of your business. So when you register your business with the Secretary of State, Dun and Bradstreet will usually pull that information from the Secretary of State and pull that into their database. So two things we want to make sure happens here. We want to make sure that on this Dun and Bradstreet website, your address is reporting correctly, or the correct address. You want to make sure you have a DUNS number. You can claim it for free. This just basically tells the banks that you're serious. And then the third step is very important. You want to make sure that the SIC code or description on your Dun & Bradstreet profile is low risk. So what does that mean? Usually, if you check on your profile, it's usually something weird, some weird number that they assign to you. The reason why we want to reclassify this SIC code is because when the banks pull from Dun & Bradstreet and they ask Dun & Bradstreet, their AI or whatever, ask Dun & Bradstreet, hey, what is the classification of this business? We want Dun & Bradstreet to push to them the data that, look, this business is low risk. And 6531 is basically saying that your real estate investing business is a real estate coaching business or a property management business, low risk. That's what we're doing there. All right. Once that's complete, we open up a business checking account with Chase. Chase is one of the best approvers right now for business credit. So we told John to basically go into his local Chase branch with the following items. Sometimes we can open the checking accounts online. It's weird. Other times you can't. But for him, he had to go in person and deposit $5K at least. Why $5K? We want to show that we are intending to use and start a relationship with Chase before we apply for any cards. If they ask for what the business does or revenue income employees estimated monthly spend data, this is what we give, or this is what we have them give. If you're looking at this and you're like, my God, I don't do anything near that in my business. Yeah, neither did John. These are what we call projections. So there's no, Chase isn't going to come back to you in a year and be, did you do a 1.5 mil? Do you have 3 employees? They're not going to ask for any verification. Even on the income, they're not going to ask for any verification on the income. This is just estimates. Okay, and then lastly, we had him meet with an RM at Chase. We also introduced him to our RM at Truist. And with this whole process, this took about 20 days for him to go through. The longest part was actually paying down the personal primary credit card balances below 30%, because it takes, once it's paid down, for it to report to the actual bureaus, because the cards only report once a month. That's the one that took the longest. But other than that, everything else was pretty spectacular. All right, what do we do next? So after optimization was complete, we came up here and we said, all right, bud, let's get you into a funding sequence. Okay, so with the funding sequence, we started at American Express. With American Express, we start with, since he already had a relationship with them on the personal side, on the business side, we had him start with, so because he already had a personal relationship with Amex, we went after the 2 Amex Blue Business Cash cards at 0%. He got approved for 8,200 here. This was 12%, 0% for 12 months. American Express Blue Business Plus, he got approved for 8,800, 0% for 12 months. On the Chase Inc. Cash, he got approved $50,000 just on that. Oh, and let me show you the data points that we use too. Okay, the data points for American Express. So why is this important? Data points. You can apply however the hell you want to apply. Points are based off of thousands of applications that we have access to through our network that we then consolidate into what is getting the best application results on the application. So time to apply for Amex is usually between 7 p.m. Eastern. Even if the business is new, we want to put year in business over 2. Again, they're not going to ask for documents to check that, and just follow the rest. And then it's basically like clockwork. You get approved. Okay, same data points go for American Express Blue Business Plus. It's for the Chase Inc. Cash, that is a 0% for 12-month card. This is the data points that we had him use. And he got $50K there. Chase Inc. Preferred, he got denied. This is not a 0% card. Usually what we do is someone will get approved for 15, 20, $25,000 here. Say, hey, the 20K that I just got approved for here, can you just move that to my Chasing Cash? And now you have a fat $70,000 0% card. Pretty cool. At Truist, because we had him do an introduction to a relationship manager, he got approved for 25,000. This is a 0 points that he used. And then we see some other banks there. But anyways, he got approved for 109,500 so far, with a bunch more applications left to go. And now what he's going to do is he has a bunch of money that he's going to use to pay his contractors, to pay for material, to pay for renovations. If you're wondering how he's going to get the cash out of the cards, I'll actually link a video to that to show you exactly how we show our clients how to get the cash out of the cards. But he has money for that. He has money for down payments too, earnest money deposits, proof of funds, all at 0%. If he has a plan, he has the money now to execute on that plan, and he's good to go. And he's most likely going to hit $150,000 in total funding at 0%. So I hope you found this helpful. Hopefully some of that information helps you go out and get some applications and funding on your own. Obviously, we are here as a service if you need our help. So so there is a link in the description to see if you qualify to work with us. But other than that, hopefully our paths cross soon, and peace.